welcome you all. We request kindly everyone to keep their phones on silent. Honorable Vice Chancellor of Somaiya University, respected Director Sir, respected Chief Guest Shri Niket Kaushik IPS, and Guest of Honor Adv Priyanka Rane Patil, esteemed guests, teachers and staff of KJSIL, and my dear students. Jnana devatu kaivalyam, knowledge alone liberates. And what better path to knowledge than books? It is said that there is no friend as loyal as a good book. And we are gathered here to launch one such book written by our faculty, Dr. Krishna Shetty. Now it is my honor to introduce the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Somaiya University.
That is a dog. She is going to read something. Thank you. You have introduced me. That's a nice thing.
Yeah, we'll just go. I would now like to call upon Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor V.N. Rajashekharan Pillai to deliver the opening address.
Honorable Chief Guest of today's function, Mr. Niket Kaushik, Additional Director General of Police, Mumbai, Adv Priyanka Rane Patil, Dr. Ramachandran, Dr. Krishna Shetty, other distinguished invitees for this book launch event, dear students and faculty members of the Somaiya Institute of Management as well as other institutions under the university. First of all, let me welcome the chief guest and all the distinguished guests for this very important function to the Somaiya University. Let me also congratulate Dr. Krishna Shetty, Associate Professor in Finance and Law, the Somaiya Institute of Management, for his book on decoding criminal laws. Book has not been introduced, but I understand that the book is a very friendly, user-friendly version of the rules, criminal rules, for the ordinary people, particularly intended for students, not for law interpretation or anything. And it defines the various terms which vocabulary, the vocabulary in crime laws have been effectively defined. And it is some sort of a study book. That is what I am given to understand. There is no need of emphasizing the importance of creating awareness about laws, particularly criminal laws, to the society at large. And to the growing generation, particularly students and youngsters, it is very important to know the ramifications of law. Probably many of the things we may be doing unknowingly, but where is the limit we should know, and therefore it's very important to have an awareness of such things. And it is also happening in a management. Krishna Shetty is a faculty member with us. He is teaching law and finance. And in addition to, he is also in charge of the examinations in the Somaiya Institute of Management. He has rich experience in the Bombay criminal courts, Bombay criminal courts. He has been a practicing advocate and he has worked under very efficient lawyers, criminal lawyers. And based on his experience in the criminal courts, he has written this book, and I am very sure that this will be a very useful introduction to many of us. I have just glanced through it, but I didn't have time to read it. but of course it is going to be launched only, and I look forward to launch of this particular book, and I will sincerely wish that the students, the public at large, will make use of this book for a clear understanding of what is criminal, what is not criminal, what are the limits. All these things are very important, and I am glad that Mr. Niket Kaushik, IPS, Additional Director General of Police, is launching this book, and also we have another guest of honor addressed by Adv Priyanka Rane Patil, and let me wish this function of success, and let this book be read and used by large number of people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to introduce our Director of CWC Somaiya Institute of Management, Dr. Raman Ramaji.
Thank you for sparing us all the details. So, now let me start by really welcoming our chief guest, Shri Niket Kaushik, and also guest of honor, Priyanka Rane Patil, and our Vice Chancellor. Thank you for being here. We could not have two more appropriate people on the dais to release this book. One who ensures that the law gets enforced and those who violate get punished, and one who makes sure that the law is being implemented, in a proper, just manner in the court. So I really thank you for being here. I'm really proud that one of our faculty, Dr. Krishna Shetty, has taken this efforts to really make, convert this into a book. It's very important that faculties, in addition to doing research, also convert the knowledge into books, which can be then used in the classrooms. And I also, as Vice Chancellor alluded to, haven't had a chance to, look at the book, but I'm told that it is the dummies version for understanding the criminal code, right? and we need that, because there is, as you rightly kind of point out in your opening statement, there is no excuse for not knowing the law. Once you cross violate the law, you need to face it. So it's better that you know the law, and particularly for students of this institute who are going to be graduating as MBAs, who are going to get into the business world, who are going to, we have 14,000 faculty who are all over the world, who are running companies, CEOs, CXOs, and it has become increasingly important that people at these levels have very, very high levels of governance, and also, hold on to very high principles of values, because enterprises and businesses have a tremendous contribution to make society better and also address some of the issues that we face in the society, the country, and the planet. And so it's very important that our students understand, as they graduate, the laws, so that when they go to lead companies and start businesses, they can be very cognizant of the laws, that they need to be cognizant of the laws, and hence they can kind of run their enterprises with the highest level of governance that is possible. I think today the business world requires such leaders more than ever. So I'm really glad that one of our faculty, Dr. Krishna Shetty, is making a contribution to this by publishing this book, and I really wish him well and congratulate you.
Thank you, sir. The author for the book being launched today is our faculty, Dr. Krishna Shetty. Dr. Krishna Shetty was a practicing advocate in Mumbai High Court for a span of 12 years before he changed his career to pursue his passion for teaching. He has PhDs in management studies in law, master's degree in criminal law, consumer protection law and commerce, post-graduation diploma in management, MBA in education management, and is a certified entrepreneurship educator. He has been teaching law and soft skills for 3 decades. His innovative practices in teaching have been acknowledged by various forums, including the National Entrepreneurship Network. He has presented and published research papers in various national and international conferences and written books on legal subjects. He has received the YGS Memorial Award for his contribution to higher education. He was the director of Bant Sangha's UKS Institute of Management Studies at Mumbai from 2012 to 2023. Presently, he is the Assistant Controller of Examinations and Associate Professor at Somaiya Institute of Management, Mumbai. I request Krishna sir to share his story of motivation behind the book with us.
Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, Director sir, Chief Guest for the day, Shri Niket Kaushik, Guest of Honor Priyanka Rane Patil, faculty colleagues and my dear friends, esteemed guests. The famous author Stephen King has said that a book is like portable magic. When I finished my LLB, I was very fortunate to join the chambers of the great late Advocate Shri Niket Kaushik. And I experienced this magic at that time because we used to typically finish our chamber work at about 10:30 in the evening. And after that, we used to have about half an hour, imagine at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the night. But we still, Sir's talks were so intoxicating that we used to sit and discuss law, especially criminal law, for about half an hour to 1 hour every day. And what I have derived from those talks is invaluable, and it is because of these talks that I am able to deliver so-called good lectures on law today. Now I remember specifically that when we used to study law so many years back, see, we lawyers are complicated people and we like to complicate things. So if you see books on law, they are, commentaries running into hundreds and, maybe sometimes thousands of pages. And a normal person is lost in, really cannot make out or fathom what are the, complexities of law. But when we were students, there was a subject called CRPC, and I remember that there was one very small pocket book by Professor Balsara, who was at that time the principal of Government Law College. And I remember that small book contributed so much to my knowledge of CRPC, more than all the commentaries that I read after I became an advocate. And that is the book which left a telling mark, and I used to always think, why are there not many books of this kind? So I always thought that I should do something of similar nature. So in that direction, so I have been using, we have used certain formulas to explain the law, mathematical equations to explain the law in this book, and nothing is mine. These are all the outcomes of what discussions I had with my guru, Advocate M.K. Joshi. And I have been using those techniques of teaching in my lectures, and students have over a number of years given the feedbacks, sir, why are these things not there in any of the books? So it was at the back of our mind. So as a pilot, I wrote a book of a similar nature, a pocket book, which I have also titled Simplest Book on Contract Law. And that book turned out to be a hit, not only among students, surprisingly, but even advocates refer to that book and they say this is very lucid. So as a continuation in that direction, I have written, I say because it is sir, I am just the mouthpiece. And I have written this book on criminal law. Only one thing I would like to again reiterate and repeat, that complex sections or provisions of law like murder, rape, kidnapping, voluntarily causing hurt, etc. we have simplified and broken down into mathematical equations which are reflected in the book. And as Honorable Vice Chancellor sir said, even if a layman reads the book, he will be able to understand the complexities of criminal law. But it would be equally as useful to understand legal concepts for law students and lawyers. So I would like to end by acknowledging so many of my colleagues who have come here, eminent advocates. My mother is here. Next to her, my wife Malika. And we have so many eminent advocates who have come here on a working day, actually taking dates on the matters. My professor Anup Mehta sir is here. Yeah. And we have Solicitor Kamya Ahuja, Advocate Shilpa Pimple, Advocate Angana Pradhan, so many others. I don't think I can name everybody, but all my law students who have come here to attend this function from various places, I thank you all. Also thank you all the colleagues from Somaiya, and thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. And the moment which we are all waiting for, I request our Vice Chancellor and Director to accompany our Chief Guest and Guest of Honor to unveil the book.
Thank you all. It is now my privilege to introduce our guest of honor, Advocate Priyanka Rane Patil. Advocate Priyanka Rane Patil is the former CWC Bench of Magistrate of Mumbai City. She is a partner at JSPK legal firm. She is the co-founder of Vasantrao Patil Lawyers Training Center, the first lawyers training center in India. She has been practicing lawyer since 2000 in High Court, Sessions Court and Family Court. She has bestowed the Me Durga Award in 2017. She was felicitated at hands of Supreme Court of Bangladesh in 2015 for her exemplary work in the field of law. She has represented Godman Bhayu Maharaj in the suicide case of Indore, ex-Union Minister Renuka Chaudhary, Underworld Don Arun Gowri, Kolhapur MP Dhananjay Mahadev, Vijay Anushka Dandekar, Joy Mukherjee Productions, and many IPS officers' case whose names cannot be disclosed. Most recently, she appeared in the famous Geo World Supercars confiscation case. In fact, just a few days back, she has been appointed as the additional public prosecutor by the Mumbai High Court. We are honored to have you with us today, ma'am. I request our Vice Chancellor and Director to felicitate our chief guest with a shawl. This shawl is hand-woven by the artisans from Kutch who are supported by Somaiya Trust. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, may I now request you to address the audience?
Good afternoon, everyone. The chief guest for today's function, Shri Niket Kaushik, sir, Additional Director General of Police. Professor V.N. Raje Sekharan Pillai, sir. Dr. Raman Ramchandran, sir. My very good dear friend Krishna Shetty, sir. A lot many friends out there who are sitting there in the audience, and my dear students. It's indeed a pleasure to share the dais with such dignitaries, and for the book launch of my dear friend Krishna Shetty, sir. Whenever I think of him, this thing comes to my mind. A guru is one who lights the lamp of wisdom within us. He's a classic example of that. coupled with humor. It's a deadly combination. I joined teaching into law quite late. I was a practicing lawyer. I started my practice as a criminal trial court lawyer. But the loudest humor or the loudest applause that I could hear from my new college days was from one class. And I used to wonder, who is this professor that the students enjoy so much? Because during my college days, I used to remember whenever you used to see a strict professor, we just used to take our bags and run away. But here, the students were dying to attend his lecture. There were specific inquiries. Krishna Shetty sir lecture kab le rahe hai? And when the students of law enjoy the lecture so much, when you make it so easy for them, that's your success. Success doesn't come to a person by the use of fancy words, the fancy legal language, but how simple you make it for the law students who remember you all your life. He's also a classic example of passion, hard work and dedication. Now when I worked as a CWC member, there were many such cases which were related to crime that came up to me, which we as normal individuals are not aware of. So be it like now it's a world of internet, so everything that you like or do is posted on the internet. I'm eating this thing at this restaurant, I'm dancing with someone, I'm singing with someone, I'm going out for 2 days. मेरा घर lock करके मैं जा रही हूँ. Everything is posted. Niket sir would know it better that how crimes utilize this information. So we should be, as the young generation, as the generation of future India, we should be aware, we should be very much vigilant of what goes on the social media. There should be certain restrictions. I'm not here to do the moral policing, but then there should be something wherein we should lay down the limitations and we should not go beyond those limitations. Similarly, as an individual, if you see that certain act of violence has been committed, have the courage to speak against it. Oh, I'm a woman, how will I do it? How will I open? At least raise your voice. Try raising a voice. As a CWC member, as a bench of magistrate, there were many phenomenal changes that I brought in. There were morchas going on against me when I joined in as a child welfare committee member. Because these people at the government level were not used to such kind of pattern of putting them in a systematic manner. The first conference that I had, there were 200 people who were raising their voice against me because they were not okay with them being set into a pattern. I said, I am a bench of magistrate. You don't teach me what I do. Whatever the powers that are there under the Code of Criminal Procedure Code, I can very well utilize that. And there was a strong voice, there was a strong message that went into. So through this forum, I want to make it a point to each and every individual. Whenever you see any violence happening, be it related to a child, be it related to an individual, be it related to you. शिवाजी जन्माला यावा पण तो दुसऱ्यांच्या घरात नाही. छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराज जर जन्माला यावे असतील तर ते तुमच्या घरात का नाही? That should be the thing that should go on in your mind. And today, through this platform, I want to make it very, very clear that yes, we are decoding the laws, we are making the criminal law very simple. But our duty is also very much there to raise our voice, to raise our concerns regarding this. And to raise your voice. Your voice should make a difference. मेरे अकेले का voice या मेरी अकेली का voice क्या फर्क पड़ता है? नहीं, फर्क पड़ता है. Just give it a try. And believe me, this has worked for me and it will definitely work for you. So sir, it's indeed, again I say that it's indeed a pleasure to be here, to launch a book. And I consider myself honored to be a part of this process. And I feel that more such books should be launched by you, which will make it simpler not only for the students, but even for the faculty and people like us who are practicing advocates. Many best wishes to you, sir, and may you always sail high. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful words of wisdom. I now have the honor of introducing our chief guest, Shri Niket Kaushik. Shri Niket Kaushik is a 1995 batch IPS officer of Maharashtra Cadre. He is presently the Additional Director General of Anti-Corruption Bureau of Maharashtra State. He has had a consistent record of outstanding professional work, impeccable integrity, and commitment throughout his 27 years of service. Among the many challenging responsibilities he has handled, inter alia as Additional Commissioner of Police of Crime Branch, Mumbai City. He has personally participated in 26/11 terror attack police operations and supervised the trial and subsequent hanging of Ajmal Kasab. The Crime Branch Mumbai under his supervision also investigated Indian Mujahideen and other terror cases. His tenure also saw the Mumbai underworld kept in check with extradition, arrests and conviction of many underworld operatives from Dawood Ibrahim, Chhota Shakil, CR gangs, etc. Number of other sensational cases were detected, like the 11th August riot case, IPL scam, Kamla Mills gang rape cases, etc. Subsequently, as IG of Anti-Terrorism Squad, the Maharashtra ATS excelled at checkmating and smashing numerous modules of ISIS, IM, and left-wing terror organizations. Convictions were obtained in train bombings attack of 2006. As the Inspector General of Police of Konkan Range, he was able to supervise law and order through various challenges as well as maintain security cover on the coastal belt of Maharashtra. The period also coincided with additional challenges of social responsibility due to COVID lockdown challenges. As Joint Commissioner of Police and Economic Offences Wing, he has supervised investigations into high-profile economic and banking frauds like NSEL scam, Cox and King bank fraud, PMC bank scam, etc. Presently, as the Additional Director of Anti-Corruption Bureau of Maharashtra, his leadership has seen remarkable increase in effective action against corruption. In view of his sustained professional commitment to duty and service, he was awarded the President's Police Medal for Distinguished Service on this 26 January 2020. We are honored to have you amongst us today, sir. I request our Vice Chancellor and Director to felicitate our Chief Guest. Sir, may I please ask you to address the audience?
I'm okay, I'm fine. As long as I'm audible, I'm fine. Am I audible? Yes. It's a great honor for me being here amongst all of you and in front of extremely illustrious bench here, the VC Professor Pillai, the Director Mr. Ramchandran, Adv Rane, and of course the man of the flavor of the moment, Dr. Shetty. I just read the title of the book, Decoding the Code, and simplifying the the law of crimes. Frankly, we don't like both of the things. Neither as police officers nor lawyers. It is not in our interest. But he's done a wonderful job. And I can tell you from my own experience, I was a law student. I have done my LLB from Faculty of Law, Delhi. And prior to that, I was also a management. I had done my graduation in management from College of Business Studies in Delhi. So when I was in the private sector, or immediately after that, I started working at the age of 20. I started working in the private sector for a short time. I realized that and later on when I joined law, I realized that there is a really absolutely lack of knowledge regarding what the criminal laws are. Leave aside the civil laws. Civil laws become more complicated. Criminal laws are, are left in a society to be understood only by the police and the lawyers. And till things change, till all of us become aware of what the criminal laws are, what are your rights, what are your duties, things will not change. And hence it is essential that at least in a basic manner, all of us are aware that what are the basic crimes defined under the Indian Penal Code, under the Indian laws, so that we can take effective action, help others, raise our voices. Unless we know them, the society is not going to change. Hence, but the problem is that when you pick up any law book, it will probably be in 3-4 volumes, each running into thousands of pages. And the layman who generally was not interested in a deeper knowledge of law would give up on it after the first 50 pages itself. So hence, it is extremely essential that an effort like this which has come about, for the people, for the common persons, for people, especially like in management, who may not need a deeper understanding of law, but who would at least know what are the basics of law. Especially for the other streams of professionals, it will be an extremely useful book, and I congratulate Professor Shetty for coming out with this lucid, simplified version of the Indian Penal Code. My best wishes. So there are actually 2 reasons why I decided that I must be here. So one is, of course, I know Professor Shetty, but in a very different avatar. Not the avatar that you know of. And second is a personal one, which I'll come later. So Professor Shetty is, to you, he is a lawyer, he is a teacher. But to us, he is a complainant in an anti-corruption case. He is one of the few people who decided to raise his voice against anti-corruption and to, blackmailing in the form of demand of bribe. And he did not try to negotiate on that, but he approached the Anti-Corruption Bureau. A beautiful trap was laid. The case is under trial, and I hope that it will result in conviction. But that is one side of Professor Shetty that you would not know. So I thought I might, and as a Additional Director General of Anti-Corruption Bureau, we do take very good care of our complainants. So I could not say no to him, and he's associated, as in a personal capacity with the Anti-Corruption Bureau. The second reason is like, it's a rather selfish one. As the head of the Anti-Corruption Bureau, I always, look forward to opportunity where I can join more people to the cause. And nothing better than students and young lawyers, professionals who will be soon joining various streams of professional work. Because soon you will be facing these challenges in the society. It is not that corruption is something new. It has always been there. It's part of the human psychology. Greed is part of human psychology. And as long as there is greed, it is difficult to root out corruption totally. You would be surprised that even Rigveda in ancient times mentions about corruption. Some of the shlokas in Rigveda warn the student against going to a teacher who is corrupt and accepts money for giving education. Chanakya in his Arthashastra has pointed 40 means of corruption. He was probably one of the first people to have codified and defined various means of corruption. So it was an issue even in the ancient times. In the Middle Ages, the Mughal courts, the Mansabdars, the courtiers, they were known to be various instances of their corruptions. In the British times, you would be surprised that some of their heroes in India, like Lord Clive, Hastings, Cornwallis, were actually tried for corruption back in UK. And some very, very famous trials, not really trials, but impeachments happened in UK during that time. So this has always been an issue. And especially when the World War started, that was the time when serious corruption came to the fore in the country. Because it was a time of emergency for all the nations. And at that time, the tolerance for corruption was low. So in India, the first Prevention of Corruption Act, it came in 1946 actually, and has been modified throughout. 1988 was the last, and now some amendments have come again in 2018. So this has a long history of course, IPC also 1860, IPC also defined corruptions, and for long it was the IPC sections which were used for defining corruption. So corruption is an issue which has a long history, and similarly the means of fighting corruption were also evolved over a period of time. The Maharashtra Anti-Corruption Bureau, it came in 1965. The Maharashtra Anti-Corruption Bureau is actually the largest anti-corruption body in the country in terms of number of crimes registered. The ACB Maharashtra registers more crime than Central Bureau of Investigation. It is the #1 agency in those terms. So I'm very proud of being heading that organization. And it's now a 60-year-old organization. And so one of the reasons is that, we have always had a very well-regulated administrative units who are properly equipped to tackle corruption issues, who have the investigative capabilities, who have the technical capabilities, which helps us in registering a large number of cases. There are 9 units of anti-corruption bureau in Maharashtra. Mumbai has the headquarters and the unit is Mumbai. So I'm saying this in case you would ever need to contact us. There are toll-free lines, we have a website, you can always connect through that. So, corruption in the society, as you know, is a very, very serious challenge. India ranks presently at, I think, about 84 in the Transparency Index, which is one of the indexes measured. So we are not in a very happy position. And with rapid industrialization, with rapid changes in modern functioning, economic changes, this has only increased. So I would also use this opportunity to encourage all of you that in case you come across the menace, please be bold enough to stand up like your teacher, Professor Shetty, come to Anti-Corruption Bureau and lodge your complaints. And only if together we are aware, determined, can we minimize this monster in the society. So that is the part regarding the anti-corruption bureau. But more importantly is the vigilance angles. So what is vigilance? Vigilance is where we try and prevent the corruption in the first place. So every institution, every individual has to be part of this vigilance. And every institution, I I might tell you, have an internal vigilance system, because it is not just the investigative bodies, the CBIs, the anti-corruption bureaus, which can tackle this corruption. So most of it has to be done internally by each institution. And I'm sure the university also must be having some kind of an internal vigilance cell. So the job is for vigilance is to prevent, to streamline the systems, to make the systems more preventive, to detect irregularities before they happen, and also to punish the persons who have done wrong and to protect the honest workers. So these are the basic concepts of vigilance which are there in each and every institution. So as I said, this was the selfish part. I was here to enlist all of you in this fight against corruption. Again, I would like to congratulate Professor Shetty once again. He's done a remarkable job. This book, as I could make out, is especially a must for people who are not law students, and especially useful for professionals from other fields like management, like economics, and so on, public policy and other, who need to understand the larger social perspective, especially dealing with social issues like social sciences. So it will be extremely useful for them. I'm sure that all of us will be able to make some use out of this book. And once again, my best wishes, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir, for the enlightening talk. We can now take few questions from the audience, but due to paucity of time, we will limit them to 2 or 3 questions. So does anybody have any questions?
Good evening, everyone. My question is to Shetty sir. Like, as now IPC is being replaced with Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, so what is the reason of publishing the book right now?
Thank you for that. That's a very relevant question. In fact, this question might have been in the mind of many people. So you all must all be hearing in the news that the criminal codes are being replaced. So we are now going to have, instead of the Indian Penal Code, what is known as the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. So the only thing that is being changed is the title. The concepts remain absolutely the same. In fact, this book can be used by law students over a number of years, where you will hardly have to change or replace the section numbers. 90% of the law remains the same, yeah, and the conceptual part absolutely remains the same. So what are the ingredients of murder, what are the ingredients of rape, what are the ingredients of abduction, kidnapping? The conceptual part remains absolutely the same. The only thing that changes, which anyway doesn't make a difference to the layman, and for a law student, he will just have to replace the section numbers. That is anyway going to be the case in the future when a law student refers to some case law. So the case law is going to have the old section numbers, yeah. And the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, because of certain technical reasons, the chronology of the section number has changed. Plus, a little bit of lipstick work has been done. Certain new provisions are coming into place. So be sure that the next edition will be called Decoding the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. And maybe we can invite all of you all again here for some wonderful occasion like this. Thank you so much.
Maybe I have one question for you before, as the other person gets to it. So I thought that e-governance and digitization has reduced corruption to a great extent. Is this just a perception, or what's your view on that?
So any law is as good as the people implementing it. That that in nutshell is, the answer to any new innovation that might happen. It's if the human ingenuity can, create, one set of preventive measures, it can also create, ways to bypass it. So they say that, integrity is more important than knowledge. So little integrity is probably more, it goes in a long way in helping others. So it's not about, how creative we can be in, introducing new measures. It's about how much of integrity and motivation we can build in. So that in a nutshell is the answer. But yes, in certain places, e-governance does help, especially in implementing large-scale transactions where human scrutiny is difficult. For example, those who are more interested in sociology or social issues, for example, there is this employment guarantee scheme, which is known as Manrega. So where, small amounts of money is to be transferred on a daily basis in thousands of matters, thousands of cases, lakhs of cases at the same time. And where a scrutiny, manual scrutiny is not possible, there the e-governance helps in reducing corruption. So it does have its uses. I will not say that it is not useful. It is useful. It's a step in the right direction. But as I said, that any law is as good as the people implementing it.
Good evening, everyone. My question is to Krishna sir. As we all know that criminal law specifically is a very dynamic field, and to learn it you need to take examples and case studies a lot. So when you talked about your book, you told us that numerically explaining the concepts of law or criminal law is possible. So can you enlighten us how, like in context of any one specific law, is it possible to explain something which is so social, something which is so dynamic and based on examples, to be converted into mathematical equations?
Okay. If you permit, can I have a chalk, please? So it is very dangerous to give a teacher a chalk. Yeah. So I will take just 3 minutes flat to explain one concept to you, right? So maybe right. So I continue. Okay. So let us not go into the big or serious offences like murder, rape or kidnapping, but let us start small, okay? So one of the small offences, no offence is small, but one of the offences causing hurt, yeah, so it is called voluntary causing hurt. So if you go and taunt somebody, yeah, you go and hit somebody, it is the offence of voluntary causing hurt. Now tell me, so this is the basic offence of voluntary causing hurt, right? Now you are punishable for causing hurt, correct? So that is punishable with certain number of, but if the same hurt you cause, you cut off somebody's hand because he is a rival gang member. Do you think it is the same punishment which both of the people will deserve? No. So what are the differentiating criteria between the basic offence of causing hurt, right? So the law, the factors which affect the basic offence of causation of hurt, the law has defined 4 factors. Number 1 is the nature of the hurt cause, the hurt itself. So sometimes the consequence, even though in law it is the mens rea, that is the mental element which is more important, sometimes the consequence is also important. So if you have just given somebody a slap on the face and his cheek gets swollen, whereas on the other hand, if you have cut off somebody's hand, that is more serious. So the first category is the category of hurt, right? So the law cannot assign one separate section to every different category of hurt. So say you cut off one hand, 2 hands, both legs, you cannot do that. So the law says there is only 2 categories, right? So So the first criteria is the nature of the hurt caused. So the law says it can either be simple hurt or it can be grievous hurt. Right? Sir has a flight to catch? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. So, an indication of the teacher is the audience leaving the class. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So, in spite of you having a busy schedule, you have come here today. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. So, either it is simple hurt, yeah, where just a slap or a punch, or there's a grievous hurt where you affect somebody's eye permanently, ear permanently, cut off the hand, cut off the legs. The second thing is the weapon used. Okay, so it is of course natural that if you strike somebody with a hand or a punch or with a stick, or if you take a chopper or cut off his hand, or if you take a gun and shoot him, that will be different. So the weapon can either be a simple weapon or no weapon, yeah, or it can be a dangerous weapon, like something which is a instrument for shooting, stabbing, cutting, acid, etc. They have given that category. Yeah, so I am explaining in a nutshell. The third thing is, if the act is such that it has been, it is the result of some specific object. आप मेरे सामने आए, you came in front of me, you said something to me, I got angry and I punched you, right? This is a spontaneous act. So there is no object behind the act. The other category is an act which is due to a specific object. I have hit you because I want to steal from your person. I have hit you because you are a rival gang member. This is the third criteria. And the last criteria is the state of mind. Now there are only two state of minds. Either you have been provoked or it is unprovoked. Right? So a provoked act, provocation is considered to be one of the most mitigating circumstances in the law of crimes. Yani, you hit me because you have some hidden agenda, or you hit me because I gave you bad words. Two different things. So now there are four criteria and there are two segregation to each criteria. Now this converts into equation. So if I say A1 plus B2 plus C1 plus D1. So this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So what is this A1? I have got simple hurt. B2 using a dangerous weapon. So C1 I had no object in mind, and D1 it was an unprovoked act. Now there are about 16 sections in the Indian Penal Code, and each section will be represented with one of this thing. So give me any situation. Okay. So Shilpa calls Angana a thief. Okay, and Angana got angry and just scratched her face with her deadly nails. Right? Yeah. So it is a provoked act. A1, B1, okay, so it is no object, simple weapon. So nails are not weapons, though it might be for many of the women here, but the body parts are no weapon, and you have caused simple act. So this is the most simple equation, A1, B1, C1, D1, and similarly you will have the grievous. So this is how it is converted into sections. I understand that it cannot be taught in a nutshell like this. It goes into much more detail, but if you read the book, I promise you will understand. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to call upon our faculty, Dr. Jaya Matthew, to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I feel honored and privileged to have this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks on this special day. First of all, I would like to thank Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajashekharan Pillai, for his presence. Today we are fortunate enough to have Shri Niket Kaushik IPS, who despite of his busy schedule made it possible to attend the event as the chief guest. Thank you, sir. We also thank Adv Priyanka Patil for gracing this occasion. Thank you, ma'am. A special mention to our director, Dr. Raman Ramachandran, who has been with us since the planning of this event. Thank you, sir, for your support. We are thankful to the learned advocates from the bar, and we have professors and students from the legal fraternity join us today. We really appreciate your presence. I also would like to thank the people who worked behind the scene to execute this event. Thank you, Arvind and team, Mrs. Aarti, Mrs. Meenal and their team for their administrative support. Last but not least, thanks to Ananya, Malavika, our MBA final year students who are also law graduates who volunteered to host this event. Thank you, Ananya and Malavika. Now I request all our distinguished guests to join us for high tea. Thank you so much.